Who is Gi-hun's daughter, and where did we last see her? In the original Squid Game, Gi-hun was living with her mother and stepfamily, who eventually moved to the United States. She was around 10 years old during Season 1, and by the show's timeline, she'd be entering her early to mid-teens. Gi-hun was a beloved figure in Gi-hun's life despite his failings. He doted on her with whatever means he had, even winning a dubious arcade prize as a birthday gift when he was too broke to buy a real present. This little girl was Gi-hun's motivation to get out of debt and be a provider. Indeed, she was at the center of the conflict with his ex-wife over custody. Gi-hun's desperate need to support his daughter. How much emotional weight did she carry in the story? A lot. Even though Ga-young only appears briefly, she represents innocence and hope in Gi-hun's life. In Season 1, Gi-hun tries to be a fun dad, taking her out for fried chicken on her birthday and promising to do better. But his financial ruin and gambling addiction threaten that bond. When her mother plans to move the child to the US for a better life, it devastates Gi-hun. The final scene of Season 1 has Gi-hun on the way to see Ga-young in Los Angeles. He even buys her a gift, but he chooses to turn back at the last minute to confront the Squid Game organizers instead, sacrificing his chance to reunite with her for the greater mission. This choice sets up huge dramatic stakes. Gi-hun is risking not only his life but his role as a father. Gi-hun is so determined to end the games that he calls his daughter one last time from Korea but can't even bring himself to speak, silently agonizing over the phone before hanging up. Why would a US adaptation benefit from making her central? Because it injects an immediate personal interest into the story. Rather than a completely new cast with no ties, using Gi-hun's daughter bridges the original Korean story to the US version, carrying over the emotional investment fans already have. It's a legacy character move that many franchises use. We know how much pain her family has already endured. Viewers would immediately worry, oh no, not his daughter too. Gi-hun's daughter can ground even the wildest US-themed twists in a relatable human story about a parent and child. There are multiple ways the creators could incorporate her. Each would shock the audience in different ways, but they all must make sense within the Squid Game narrative logic. One straightforward yet jaw-dropping possibility is that Gi-hun's daughter becomes a player in the American Squid Game, essentially following in her father's footsteps, willingly or unwillingly. This scenario could develop in a few ways, each with its own shock factor. Perhaps the sinister organizers kidnap or coerce Ga-young into participating. This would be utterly shocking because thus far the Squid Games have involved adults. It would immediately horrify viewers and characters alike. The VIPs, obsessed with entertainment, might deliberately bend the rules to include a contestant who's under 18. If the US version wants to up the depravity, showing a teenager in the deadly games would do it. It calls to mind the premise of The Hunger Games itself, children forced to kill each other for a wealthy audience's amusement, a concept that shocked readers and viewers globally. Squid Game could be making a dark commentary on that very idea by actually letting a kid in. Ga-young might volunteer herself to join the game in order to find out what happened to her father. By the end of Season 3, she does receive Gi-hun's prize money and even his blood-stained Squid Game uniform from the frontman. These items are huge clues. A mysterious calling card, a green tracksuit with the number 456, symbols she doesn't understand. It would be logical for a smart, determined kid to go looking for answers. Ga-young will actively seek out the next Squid Game. She'd want to know what happened to her dad and join the new Squid Game. The game is going to happen in the USA, and his daughter does live in the States. By that time, with the timeline jump, Ga-young would be about 18 or older, just barely eligible as an adult. If she chooses to step into the arena, it's shocking in a different way. It's a heroic but harrowing choice, essentially a daughter going to war to uncover or avenge her father's fate. This would flip the script on Season 1. Instead of a father risking everything for his child, now the child is risking everything because of her parent. The audience, knowing who she is, would be on pins and needles every time she's on screen, especially if other characters don't know her identity. If the Squid Game can pull in even the daughter of its greatest winner, it shows the reach of this vicious system. It's shocking by age because of the ethical line crossed, and shocking by identity because of the emotional twist. The audience would both fear for her safety and be dying to see how she plays the game. Would she display the same compassion her father did, forming alliances and refusing to kill? Or would seeing her father's fate drive her to be more ruthless? The uncertainty makes this theory incredibly compelling. Now, for a darker twist, what if Gi-hun's daughter isn't a victim at all but a part of the system? The US Squid Game has a new frontman-esque figure, perhaps a front woman, who eventually removes her geometric mask to reveal Ga-young. This would be a gut punch twist, completely flipping our expectations of the sweet, innocent girl. How could this happen? Let's explore the narrative logic. Recall that Gi-hun never made it to his daughter in the end. From Ga-young's perspective, her father abandoned her and then died mysteriously. That kind of event could deeply traumatize or embitter her. By the time she's a young adult, she might feel anger toward her father or the world for what happened. The Squid Game organization, always looking for useful people, could exploit this. Perhaps the frontman approaches her in secret, and instead of harming her, he grooms her into the role of a protege. It's not far-fetched. Hwang In-ho himself was a past winner who was indoctrinated into running the games. He went from victim to villain, even shooting his own brother. Ga-young could be a parallel, the child of a winner drawn into the allure of power. Maybe the frontman lies to her about Gi-hun's intentions or simply offers her a way to channel her pain by joining the ones in control. Over years, she could rise through the ranks until she's in a leadership position for the American branch of Squid Game. This path would mirror and contrast In-ho's story in interesting ways. In the original, the frontman's reveal was a massive shock. He turned out to be Hwang Jun-ho's missing brother, a former good guy turned game master. Audiences were stunned that a winner would become the very thing he once survived. If Ga-young becomes a front woman, it's arguably even more shocking. She's the daughter of our hero, essentially inheriting the mantle of antagonist. It's a perverse legacy. Gi-hun sacrificed everything to stop the games, only for his own child to don the mask and perpetuate them. Another angle, Ga-young might not even be evil, but rather forced into this role. Perhaps she initially works within the organization to survive. Over time, though, the power or indoctrination could corrupt her. The audience shock factor here is primarily the betrayal of expectation. We expect Gi-hun's daughter to be a symbol of innocence or a motivation for good. To see her as a mastermind or henchwoman of the evil game would floor everyone. The creators could hide her involvement easily, mask her character literally and figuratively until a climactic reveal. We as viewers might be introduced to a mysterious front woman figure running the American games, someone who seems cunning and cruel. Only in a penultimate episode do we discover it's her. It would be one of those TV moments that blows up social media. One shocking theory is that Ga-young is secretly working from the inside to destroy the Squid Game organization. She might start investigating her father's death. In the US, she could team up with someone like Jun-ho or an FBI agent to infiltrate the American games, mirroring the undercover subplot from Season 1. Ga-young might pose as a staff member or even a masked frontwoman, leaking information or subtly sabotaging the system. The show could keep viewers in the dark, making her look complicit until a mid-season twist reveals she's a mole. We might see her do morally strange things, like sparing players or hesitating during orders, leading to growing suspicion until it clicks. She's not playing their game, she's trying to break it. This twist would reframe everything. Her apparent betrayal of Gi-hun's legacy becomes an act of revenge and justice. It also ties into Gi-hun's arc. He died trying to stop the games, and now his daughter is finishing the job. The spy angle also brings back the tension of cat-and-mouse storytelling. Close calls, fake loyalties, and near discoveries keep audiences glued. When the mask finally comes off, the emotional payoff hits hard. Gi-hun's daughter is the rebellion. How did you like these theories? Write in the comments what you think the future of Gi-hun's daughter will be. Thank you for watching the video, and please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos. Good luck.